All right, let's dive in. Today, we're talking about a brand new open source AI called Elysia. And what's so cool about it, what makes it really stand out, is that it's built to be totally honest. It actually shows you how it's thinking, not just the final answer.
You know, for the past few years, the whole AI race has been about one thing: getting bigger. Bigger models, more data. But what if that's not the whole story? What if the next huge leap forward isn't about size at all? What if it's about making AI that's, smarter, more transparent, and can actually adapt to us? Well, that's exactly the question Elysia is trying to answer.
So here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll tackle what's known as AI's black box problem. Then we'll see how Elysia flips that on its head by thinking out in the open, learning from you, and being super efficient. And finally, we'll talk about why this could be a new standard for AI. Let's get right into it. Okay, so let's start with a big problem that Elysia was designed to fix. It's this thing people call the black box problem. And honestly, it's this massive weakness in so many of the AI systems we use every day. It's the reason why it's so hard, sometimes even impossible, to really trust them. So a lot of the advanced AI out there uses a method called Retrieval Augmented Generation, or RAG for short. It's a pretty simple idea, right? You ask a question, the AI goes and retrieves some information from a knowledge base, and then it uses that info to generate an answer. Sounds perfect on paper, but in reality, yeah, there are some pretty big flaws. And this is where things really start to fall apart. These traditional RAG systems, they often do what's basically a blind search, just grabbing whatever data seems close enough, even if it's totally irrelevant. And the reasoning? It's a complete mystery. You have no idea why it picked one piece of info over another. Plus, they're just awful at learning when you tell them they're wrong. And what does that lead to? You guessed it, hallucinations, wishy-washy answers, and at the end of the day, an AI you just can't rely on. This is precisely where Elysia comes in and just changes the entire game. It's a total shift away from these opaque, inflexible, and inefficient systems. Instead, it's all about being transparent, adaptive, and efficient right from its very core. Seriously, this isn't just some minor update, it's a completely new way of thinking about AI. So how does Elysia crack that big problem of being a black box? Well, it does something that's honestly revolutionary for an AI. It thinks right out in the open. You can see its entire thought process, step by step. The secret sauce here is a technique called decision tree reasoning. So instead of some magical, mysterious process happening behind the curtain, Elysia takes every question you ask and breaks it down into a logical, step-by-step tree that you can actually follow along with. Okay, let's walk through what that actually looks like. So you ask a question. Right away, the system breaks it down into smaller, bite-sized sub-questions. Then, and this is the absolute key, it shows you exactly which documents or data sources it's looking at for each step. And finally, it puts together the answer. But now it's an answer you can actually check and verify because you saw all the work it did to get there. There's this great analogy for it. It's not a black box, it's a map of the AI's thoughts. And that's just perfect, right? Because with a map, you can see the route, you can spot if it takes a wrong turn, and you can actually trust the destination. It means the AI's logic is finally something we can audit. So being able to see how an AI thinks is a total game changer. But Elysia doesn't stop there. It's not just transparent. It's also built to be super adaptive. It actually learns from you and customizes itself to what you need. Think about this. Instead of just dumping a wall of text on you, Elysia gives you 7 different ways to see the information. Need a quick summary? You got it. Need to see the data in a table or a graph? No problem. And if you really want to check its work, you can pull up that whole decision path we talked about. The point is, the output is tailored to your needs, giving you clarity, not just more clutter. And the other piece of this adaptability puzzle is really deep personalization. Every single time you give it feedback, like, hey, that source was great, or nope, that answer was way off, the system doesn't just forget it. It logs it into your very own personal data set. It's actively learning from you. And this is so, so important. The AI isn't just getting smarter in some generic way. It's getting smarter specifically for you. It learns what you like, how you work, and what's actually useful to you. Over time, it basically becomes your own personal AI assistant, molded by your interactions. Okay, so we've got an AI that's transparent and adaptive. Awesome. But what about performance and efficiency? We're living in this era of giant, energy-guzzling models. Well, Elysia takes on that problem of bloat too, and it really proves that AI can be smarter, not just bigger. Just to give you an idea of the problem, Old school REG systems, they process everything up front. They slice up documents and create thousands and thousands of data embeddings that, let's be honest, you're probably never going to use. It's just a massive waste of computer power and money. Elysia's solution is so much smarter, so much more elegant. It uses a chunk-on-demand system. The best way to think about it is like a just-in-time delivery service for data. It only processes the exact piece of information it needs right when it needs it. This saves a ton on costs and makes the whole thing way more efficient. And it gets even smarter. There's another layer here called multi-model routing. I love this. It's basically an AI traffic controller. So instead of using one giant expensive model for every single little thing, it looks at your question and smartly sends it to the best model for that specific job. A small, fast one for simple stuff, and a big, powerful one only when it's really needed. It's the perfect way to balance cost, speed, and power. And you know what the best part is? This isn't some pie-in-the-sky idea for the future. Elysia is open source, which means you can get it up and running yourself in just a few minutes. It's super simple. One command to install it, you point it to your data, pick your settings, and boom, you're running your first query and seeing that amazing, transparent decision tree with your own eyes. Okay, so let's zoom out for a second and look at the big picture here. Why does something like Elysia matter so much right now? Because Elysia isn't just another AI tool. You could almost call it a blueprint for how AI should be built. It's all about transparency, so we can finally stop relying on blind faith. It's about adaptability, so the AI actually grows with you. It's about efficiency, which saves a ton of money and computing power. And it's about personalization, so you get an assistant that's truly yours.
And that brings us right back to that question we started with. This whole framework is proof that the future of AI isn't just a race to build the biggest model. The future is about building smarter, more efficient, and truly human-centered systems. Systems we can actually understand, work with, and trust.
There's a quote that just perfectly sums this all up. The smartest systems don't just talk smarter, they actually think smarter. And that's it right there. Real intelligence isn't just about sounding convincing, it's about having a logical, sound process to get to the answer. It's the huge difference between just talking smart and actually thinking smart. So I'll leave you with this one final thought. Ask yourself, would you trust an AI more if you could see its homework? If you could see a complete map of its reasoning for every single answer it gives you? It's a really powerful question, and the answer might just be the key to the entire future of AI. Thanks for tuning in.